Parentology is sponsored by Prudential Manor Homes Realtors. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, let our experts do it for you. We place honesty, integrity, and professionalism above all else. Consider Prudential Manor Homes Realtors as your real estate company. Call 518-935-2555 or visit their website at prudentialmanor.com. And by Dust Free Home, located on Maple Ave in Saratoga Springs. Combine the power of the Rainbow cleaning system with Rainbow's cleaning solutions for a home that looks, smells, and feels delightfully clean. We'll help you clean your floor, furniture, and the air that you breathe. Stop by or call 518-580-8833 for an in-home demonstration. And by Monkey Bar Storage. We are residential garage storage and garage organization experts. We offer an alternative to garage cabinets, racks, and overhead storage. We alleviate your cramped, disorganized space. Contact us to compare and contrast your options. 518-257-2818.
First you're numb, and then you're proud. Your child is born, for crying out loud. It's a miracle, and yet your greatest fears come true. You're a parent, but you don't know what to do. Does this thing come with an instruction manual?
Hi, I'm Paula Gretzinger, and this is Parentology. Today we're talking about raising twins. Do you raise them as an individual or as a set? Also, how do you make the most of your family's time? I'll be talking to a parenting expert that has some great tips for you. And if your teen is out of control and taking control of your life and ruining it, I have the perfect support group for you. But first, let's meet Parentology's Parents of the Week.
Hi, my name is Erin Schambach. I'm a mother of 3 and I love nap time.
Hi, I'm Kelly Lynn. I'm a mother of 2 and I just registered for my first 5K.
If you think parenting is a tough job, imagine having to do everything twice. Raising twins and being a parent of other children at the same time. Joining me to talk about what it's like to raise twins are Erin Schambach and Kelly Lynn, both moms of twins. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Erin, you have twins, a boy and a girl.
Yep.
How old are they?
They're 3.
And do you have another?
Yes, I do. I have a 20-month-old son.
Okay, and Kelly?
Yes, I have boys and they're 5, boy twins. And that's it.
How do you do it? What has been the biggest challenge so far?
Fighting.
Fighting?
They fight terribly when they fight.
Yeah, how about
I
you,
would
Kelly?
say the same, definitely.
So it's
arguing.
It's true what people say, that twins either love each other or, I mean, yours are 5.
They're 5, yeah.
3 and a half. What are some of the things that they fight about?
Everything. What don't
There's
they fight
competition about getting it. It's mostly attention, getting attention, toys. You know, if we only have one toy of a certain thing, fighting over who gets to play with it.
Do they fight over mommy spending more time with you than me? And how do you feel as a parent? Like, how do you manage that?
Very carefully. I mean, I have the 3, and the little one is especially sensitive to that. He will shove the twins off of my lap if they're sitting in my lap. He will bite them if they're in the way, you know, and then pet me like, oh, mommy. It's just a matter of really enforcing some one-on-one time when you can, and when you can't, just you do your best. It's not always even. It's not always fair. You just kind of do your best.
How about you, Kelly?
Definitely being sensitive of their personalities, like knowing who always needs more time with one parent, taking one out of the home individually, you know, to the grocery store, wherever you're going. Just making sure that, you know, both my husband and I, not just me, spends one-on-one time with the boys alone.
Did you dress them the same?
When they were very little, I did, because we didn't know their genders in advance, so we had gender-neutral everything.
When they were infants, you know, it was cute to put them in similar outfits or the same outfits, but as they've gotten older, we don't really dress them the same often, if at all.
Okay. You only have 2 hands. Now you have 2 babies, and changing diapers and feeding them at the same time. How does that work?
Creativity. There's actually, I mean, the diaper thing you have to do with your hands, obviously, but as far as feeding and different ways that you can, if you're alone, say with both babies and they're infants and they can't hold their bottles yet or whatever, there's a lot of merchandise that you can buy that can help with that.
What are some of the things? Like, give some tips.
The boppy pillows are a lot of help. My husband and I used, I think they were called a potty, and it was basically like a straw that came out of the bottle that the babies could suck on a nipple in their mouth, and no one had to hold anything. That was really helpful, especially once they were old enough to sit in their high chairs on their own, things like that. So yeah, you just have to be creative, especially if you're by yourself.
Divide and conquer. We do that a lot too. I mean, okay, Dad, you're going to take care of this, that, and the other thing. I'll cover this. Divide and conquer.
You guys have time for yourselves.
Yeah, I recently just have really made an effort to make time for myself, because it was making me miserable to be consumed by them. Yeah. And I am a much more even mom.
How do you do that? Because often moms complain, I just don't have time for myself. I don't know how to do it. I can't do it. How do you make time for yourself?
It's an effort. It's very easy to leave work and just go home and stay there with your family, something that you've strived for most of your life probably. But I think in order to be a healthy individual, you need to get out of the home and enjoy your girlfriends, or hang out with other friends, go out as a couple. It's really, I just think people need to make time for themselves.
You just have to make it a priority, and it's hard to do, and there's a twinge of guilt. I'm leaving my kids again. I've been at work all day. I'm going out now. But really, they get the net benefit too, because the next day I'm better for it, having had time away, a break from them, time to reconnect with my individual identity.
And how about expensive-wise, like money-wise? Now you have two. You had to buy. Did you breastfeed or formula feed?
I was formula.
Okay, so that's very expensive. And then the diapers. How did you do that?
We made a lot of cuts in our life. Definitely, our lifestyle has changed dramatically. Just to make sure that our children have everything that they need. We've made changes in our work schedules, everything to try and avoid costs of daycare. You find ways. Coupons, there's really, you find ways, and it always works out. So thankfully we're very lucky that way, that it's worked out.
If you need to cut something back, you cut something back. Obviously you're not going to cut back on diapers. It doesn't work that way. So, you cut down nights out, or, whatever you have to cut back on. I've had the same clothes for 4 years. So my wardrobe, thank you. My wardrobe has suffered. Exactly.
How do you not play favorites?
Oh, that's easy, because one of them is always making me angry. So, and it rotates.
I'm glad you said that.
So it just changes, and that can change from like every 5 minutes,
Every day is a struggle. One's definitely my favorite on any given day, just based on personality. But, I love them both for their different aspects of them.
You have to be a team.
Definitely.
Oh, yes.
Now, you're a stay-at-home mom? Working full-time?
Full-time.
I work part-time.
Yeah. If both parents are in the same household, you really, just to take the ease off of everyone, should be splitting chores or, whatever, helping out to make the day go easier. Just, everyone needs to help out. That's basically what it boils down to.
I would say organize and communicate. Like, I keep the calendar really tight. I know where everybody's supposed to be at what time, what activities my husband has planned, what I have going on of my own, what the kids have planned, very neatly organized in Outlook. And communicate a lot, so that we know what's going on with each other, who's responsible for what, delineate activities so that everything, nothing gets left behind. Yeah.
What advice, tips would you like to give to parents that have twins and are struggling through the whole process?
It gets better.
It does get better.
When they get a little bit, the first 2 years are difficult. I won't lie to anyone about that. I think it's the same with any parent, not just twins. Twins magnified a little bit. But it does get better when they get a little more independent, and that it is absolutely critical to make time for yourself, no matter how guilty you might feel about it, no matter how pressed you are. It's critical to your well-being to make time for yourself.
Definitely.
And you said that the first 2 years are more difficult.
Yes.
Can you give us some examples of what to expect?
Just the physical challenge of taking them anywhere. A stroller has to be involved unless you're an octopus and have 8 arms for the diaper bag and 2 children. A stroller, I took a stroller with me everywhere. We went grocery shopping. I did everything with them when they were little, but it's a challenge just to move them from point A to point B if you're by yourself. it's, you know, daunting. Or if you're home during the day with them by yourself, feeding them and propping bottles and spoon feeding them when they're ready, it's a challenge. You just get done feeding them and it's time to get them ready for naps, and then it's time to feed them again. And, you know, it's a nonstop routine until they get to be walking and things like that when they're a little bit more independent.
Okay. And Kelly, tips, advice for parents?
Parents with infant twins, I would say a schedule is really important, keeping them both on the same schedule. That really worked out for my family anyway. There's a lot of support in the community for multiple parents. Look online, maybe find some groups that they could seek out, peers with the same challenges in their life at the same time. You get a lot of good helpful hints from that. And then, like Erin said, just making time for yourselves and making sure that you get a chance to take a breather every now and then.
So much fun.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
And if you would like to know more about raising a twin or have a question for Erin or Kelly, just log on to my website, parentologywithpaula.com. Coming up, how to make the most of your family's time. I'll be talking to a parenting expert that will give you some tips.